105.1 TMC. Mayong adlaw sa kanatong tanan today is May 18. The year is 2026. And the day is Monday, the first day of the work week and school week. Wala day klase day. Maybe itong mga kolehiyo kanong colleges na siguro klase. Pero majority have no classes today, of course. It's a summer vacation for most high school and grade school students, even preschool students. Maayong adlaw sa kanatong tanan. How is your weekend, you guys? Did you guys have fun? Did you get some rest and recreation? Were you able to rejuvenate yourself para you'll have more energy to start your work week? But or it could be nga murag medyo gikapoy pa ta kay murag wa pa ta nakaget over sa weekend, right? Ikaw, Ralph, how are you doing, Ralph? How's everything? How are you feeling this Monday morning?
Okay raman.
Okay ra?
Just the usual start to the work week kind of fatigue. kanang kapoy gamay pero need jud nimo mo.
Yeah. It's so funny, besa nga supposedly the weekend is supposed to be for us to get some rest and recreation, diba?
Supposedly.
Kanang chill ta, pahuway ta paghuman. Pero ini ka Lunes murag kuwang pang pahuway sa? Kuwang pang pahuway?
Di jud mawa ang feeling ng injo kuwang.
Is this an argument for the 4-day work week by? Like because there is an argument for 4-day work week. In fact they actually kind of started that idea because not because of the fact that we want more days of resting, because of the high prices of gas. I think that was the reason why a few weeks ago para makasave on transportation costs. I think that was the main reason why the government instituted a 4-day work week for government employees, right? And I think they are back now to the 5-day work week. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, itong mga nagtrabaho sa gobyerno. But what do you think of that, Bay? What do you think of the idea of a 4-day work week instead of a 5-day work week? Not just because the prices of transportation is high, but simply because we need more time to get some rest and or we need more time to work at home and less time to work in the office. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's actually very ideal for very urban urbanized countries. And I think the Philippines is getting closer and closer to that level gani. And like for example in Japan, I heard they're also considering making it a permanent thing na the 4-day work week. Because they want ang argument there is like they want people to have more time with their family first and foremost. Kay Japan has a declining birth rate and they want that to be like one of the
really
ways to combat it. Like,
really? So you'll have more time for intimacy and more time.
Basically.
Wow.
Socializing and all that. That's one aspect of it.
Interesting.
And also, like, you have more time to actually spend the money that you make from work, because for a lot of people, it's like muhuwat biya sila for the long weekend before sila mo travel to other places with family and friends.
Okay, mukaon na gawas, diba?
Mukaon na gawas, sometimes like that. Muhuwat sila for the long weekend. So if long dadaan ang weekend, 3 days dadaan ang in yung break, you have more time to actually consider actually going out and spending the money that you make at work.
So dili siya 4-day work week, dili siya ang 5th day mo trabaho sa balay. Di gyud siya mo trabaho, wag gyud trabaho.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And when I first heard of the concept and the rationale behind it, I was like, yeah, I can kind of get behind that. I think especially for countries with like with Japan with their very heavy workload and all that. Grabe.
Ano heavy mang workload sa Japan? Isn't work in Japan the same as work in Cebu? Why is it heavy workload? What do you mean?
There's this very weird work culture in Japan. There's this concept, phenomenon rather, where you have salarymen.
Salaryman, right?
Typical office workers who are passing out in the middle of the streets.
Yeah.
Because they're overworked.
But what's the difference between work here and work there? Why is it that they're passing out in the middle of work? How's that different from our work here?
Well, let's just say they're more prone to overworking their employees there. There's this thing that they call black companies in Japan.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah,
The black company.
it
So
is
many black company.
it is ominous because they murag ang ilang conjud, ang ilang setup jud is to is basically 12-hour work weeks.
Oh wow, okay.
And that's actually illegal, but they still continue to operate in that manner.
It's funny that you mentioned that. My daughter, actually, who's a healthcare provider, there was a time because of schedule problems, she had to work 12 hours. And I was like, what? You're working for 12 hours? Is that possible? And I think this is very common, especially in the United States and even parts of Europe. Nga, ang mga nurses nila, healthcare providers, because of the lack of healthcare providers, they have to work like longer stretches of the day, like 12 hours and even longer.
Yeah, even my brother has tried a 12-hour shift. I think that's fairly common.
Your brother is a nurse too.
Yeah, my brother's a
right.
nurse.
And isn't that weird? I told her we were having this argument in the car because we have a long drive to the car. Nga naman nga you're supposed to be healthcare providers. You should know this better that the human body requires some rest. Don't you need to be sharp and awake when you're helping these sickly people, right, in the hospital, right?
Yeah. Pero the thing about healthcare and emergency response
exactly.
Emergency response workers as well is that sometimes the situation calls for you to add in more time in work. There are certain instances when, let's say, there's like a huge influx of patients.
Correct. Yeah.
Because of maybe a calamity or something along the lines of that you're not able to switch staff immediately.
Yeah.
And they're just like, no, we need you right now because somebody is literally, on the verge of.
But see, the thing is, especially in healthcare, kaning emergencies are a daily occurrence, right?
Yeah.
And I think they should be able to prepare. But I think the most important part is really that you guys have workers there. You have healthcare providers that are really at the top of their game and are not sleepy and hungry. Right?
I mean,
right.
To a certain extent, I can agree with that. But sometimes it's really just sometimes.
Yeah.
Extreme circumstances.
Call
for it.
Yeah, correct.
Like there was a post that somebody put out basically like of a firefighter who just came from a 20-hour shift.
Oh my
trying
God.
to fight a what do you call this? A forest fire.
Oh wow.
So this is something that it's not like you can just like, okay, it's 8 hours, I gotta clock out now, and then while the fire is blazing behind him.
Okay. Of course you can't stop firefighting.
Yeah, of course you can't stop in the middle of that.
Yeah.
And you need to be there till it's done, till the fire is gone.
Yeah.
Till the threat is gone.
Okay.
So sometimes it's just a requirement.
It's just a requirement, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, that's healthcare. That's emergency response.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like office workers who work 12-hour shifts because the company forces them to, and they usually get like, they don't even get paid that much as well. And I think one of the most common things as well is that they don't get paid overtime.
Interesting. Anyway, so I think the idea of working less, but I mean less number of days, not necessarily less amount of
Less
time,
work,
right?
yeah.
It's
But
just,
less number of days.
so you'll be able to relax some more, and maybe the weekend should be on a Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, right?
Yeah, basically give you more time.
Mo
for
man
the
problema
family.
sa mga construction workers sa sahay nga. Silingan na magong Lunes sa Domingo good. So kung dili gihangover pa pag weekend kay nagubog-hubog ba, pag human pag Lunes di wa na katunga kay naglain ng lawas, kuwang ko katug, right? That's really a common occurrence, especially kana bitaw mag nakay renovation sa balay or sa even sa building. Kung foreman ka, dako kay kag labad sa nga imuhang mga trabahante dili mo tunga og Lunes kay na kaning na nahubog og kulapo og kaning tuba.
Lagi.
Pista man gud sa Talamban, sir good. Pista sa Talamban. Kaning nasobraan ko gaon ba naglain akong lawas o sobrang inom or whatever.
Kana kay mo nang kanpod gitawag na to nga special circumstances.
Special circumstance.
Dili siya extreme pero special occasions
Oh, ni kuan naman na bay, habitual naman na bay. Di lisod kay patungahon ang trabahante kun labi na construction work og Lunes. Correct me if I'm wrong, this is still true. This is like a kaning an experience of mine a long time ago when we were still renovating the house and all of that stuff. Pero I don't know if it's still true now. Let me know, guys, if you have any comments on our behavior when it comes to work. Ang Lunes kadaghanan Mura kuwang pa kango pa ba kuan pa mura pag kaning gitayan pa ba kung basketball pa mura bitaw kaning bugnaw pa di ba sa basketball ana man sa labay if a team has a long break usually mura sila dili pa kayo maayo di ba mura rusty pa gamay di ba right and speaking of rusty naunsa maning pag-unsa habay nga ang Detroit Pistons mura pagilubog na noon sa Cleveland Cavaliers nga mura matog they stole a game versus the Cavaliers at their home court, right?
Yes. To force Game 7.
Mura gilubong naman hinoon sa Game 7. Tell me about what's the final score. Is it done?
I don't think it's done.
But it looks like it's over, right?
I think it's over. Yeah, 86-118.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is bad.
Whiz.
Yeah, pildi na ni. Wala ni.
Gabi abesa di pa I think correct me if I'm wrong. I'm wrong. The first two games, the Cavaliers won, right?
No.
Detroit. The first two games, the Detroit Pistons won.
Yes.
They went the 3 straight.
Yeah, Cavs won 3
straight.
On
the 4, so that's 5 games. On the 6th game, daog ang Detroit, right?
To force Game 7.
I thought anyway. So many thoughts. Teeth na siya. They already figured out the Cleveland Cavaliers, diba?
Yeah, something like that.
It did look like that, right?
Yeah.
Did you get that feeling in Game 6?
It seemed like the defense just came together for Detroit's Game 6, and then I don't know. I haven't seen anything from Game 7 yet, so dili ko makastorya as to what happened.
But you have to admit, it did look like the Detroit Pistons figured out the Cleveland Cavaliers in Game 6, right?
Yes.
It did look like that.
It did look like that.
Good. You beat your opponent in their home turf. How much more in your supposedly
home turf?
In your home turf, right?
Okay, it's supposedly mo jud ang taning point sa higher seeding. Nakay home court advantage sa final game.
Yeah.
Game 7. This is for all the cards. This is to get you to the next stage. And
oh my God, man!
Oh my God, they're getting blown out by 30.
But I think
disappointing.
Di ba by last season the Cleveland Cavaliers were also kind of disappointing performance.
Yes, they did.
There was so much high expectations for the team.
And they disappointed. Okay, first seed good sila sa East.
Oh, okay.
Katong season, and people were pretty much expecting them to carry that momentum into the playoffs, pero they didn't.
So I think this is probably what they learned from it, right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
I think primarily this is just they did have a change of personnel.
Yeah.
So maybe this is really just the personnel coming together. I haven't seen the scores yet.
I saw who's that Merrill guy? I don't know this Merrill guy.
Sam Merrill.
Yeah. He was the highest pointer in the first half.
Highest scorer
in the first half, I think.
Really?
Is he like
He's a role player.
Wow.
He's a catch and shoot type of player.
Oh wow. Anyway, so I guess that finalizes the cast of teams for the NBA Eastern and Western Conference Finals, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So in the West, it'll be San Antonio Spurs versus the OKC,
the Oklahoma City Thunder.
And for the West,
that is the West.
For the East, I'm sorry.
For the East, it's going to be the Cavaliers and New York.
Oh wow, that's going to be pretty exciting. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is.
What kind of magsugod ba?
Probably sometime this week.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Tomorrow day.
Oh,
tomorrow.
Oh wow.
So tomorrow ang Western Conference Finals, and probably on Wednesday ang Eastern Conference. So good sa Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay. So ang ato ang tak na karon, what time is it? It is now 10:45. You know what? What I wanted to talk about was actually very interesting. Because I noticed nga grabe jud kaayo kadaghan og mga tawo nga maghisgot about a city in Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Grabe you guys na the beauty of Reddit magud I think is that you can use it using an anonymous or a different name, di ba?
Yeah,
so
of course.
there is a tendency, although that's just a tendency, and the opposite could be also true. Nga you're more honest. Kaya di man ka mahibawan kung kinsa ka, di ba? Right? And it seems to me nga naam say mo correct sa imuhang assertions about something ba. So ganahan ko ang ganahan ko mahibawan. I went on a deep dive on Reddit. Ganahan ko mahibalo kung unsa man ang pulso sa katawhan, especially sa mga expats, mga foreigner, even the local tourists about Cebu. Not just the city, but the entire island of Cebu. So what is the best and the worst of Cebu, right? So that's what we're going to talk about. If you guys want to join us, please, we have YouTube, we have Facebook, and also TikTok. If you want to join our conversation about what is the best and the worst of Cebu, we have different categories that I wanted to know about. I actually posted it on my socials, maybe the best restaurant, perhaps, or the worst restaurant, the best and the worst experience, the best and the worst in tourist spots, service, transportation, bar or club, or even healthcare or mga massage places, and so on and so forth. If there's a category that you'd like to comment on, whether it's the best or the worst in Cebu, please let us know. And I think this is all for us to be able to improve on these particular things, right? Or maybe if it's the best already, how to maintain the status of being the best, right? This is not a kind of a demolition job on anyone or anything. This is really our sincere wish and sincere desire to help improve Cebu. But I think it's important to note, Ralph, asa man na magikan ang imuhang pagpananaw sa kabutang. I think primarily it's because of experience, diba? You always we're comparing machines, diba? Nobody decides that something is good or bad in a vacuum. It is really based on our experience, right? So kung ikaw, for example, you're a very you're well traveled and you've gone around the world, your perception of where you are is probably different, especially if you're from Cebu. Lahi siguro yung pananaw sa Cebu. Kumpara sa usa ka tawo nga pananglitan kaning wag yun nakalakaw sa Cebu, wag yun nakagawa sa Cebu, right? Or nakasuroy-suroy sa tibok Pilipinas, lahi po imong experience, diba? Right? Am I correct? Is that correct assessment, Raf?
Well, yeah, definitely. It's everything we base our opinions on. It's largely going to be on our own personal experiences. Like ako kay born and raised man ko diri sa Cebu, and then I moved to Butuan for high school. So ang akong when I was like navigating around Butuan, getting to familiarizing myself with the city of Butuan, I couldn't help comparing it to Cebu, like what Cebu is like as a city. And the first thing you do na imong compare between Butuan and Cebu is ang kadako.
The sheer size.
The sheer size of Cebu compared to Butuan. Butuan is just a really small city, Jude. And I think ang tallest building in Butuan was like maybe 10 stories, something like that. It's not really the as grand as Cebu. So you can't help but feel like you're in a small place when you're just there. And
but when you say the sheer size, you mean the city, right? You mean the city,
because city itself,
because it's not necessarily smaller in terms of the land size, diba?
Land
area, diba?
Land area.
Diba? Pero ang syudad lang siguro ang city center.
Ang city mismo. City
mo,
proper niya.
Maybe like the building siguro, right?
Yeah, the buildings too. That's why I said the tallest building in Butuan was like 10 stories, maybe 10, 12 stories. But there's really not a lot of tall ass buildings, unlike here in Cebu. Nga, I think maklasify na ganing uban as like skyscrapers man siguro. Matawag ba na sila skyscrapers?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Those are skyscrapers. When we have a look here from our view of our vantage points from tops, grabe jud kayo ka taas ng skyscraper. Even us here in Cebu, if you haven't gone to Cebu for a long time, for example, you've been out of the country for a long time, and paghuman mo bisita ka kalit sa Cebu, you'll be surprised, man, and even shocked at the way we have developed, right?
Yeah, for sure. Even in that 6-year span nga naara ko sa Butuan, when I got here to Cebu, it felt like so much has changed. Like the city has grown bigger. There's more buildings. There's more tourists in Cebu at the time. Ambot lang sa karon.
I don't know about the
tourist situation right now.
Cebu, right?
Oh gosh, I heard nga the tourism industry is still reeling from a drought, basically.
You know what? Kanibo kong Reddit ba? Not too many people are familiar with it. I remember because I dabble in a little bit of politics pa ba? Yeah, I remember a few years ago nga didto mi mangita sa Reddit kung unsay gipanghisgutan sa mga katawhan, right?
Yeah.
So murag ang pulso sa katawhan ba, which actually surprised me. I didn't know there were so many Cebuanos in Reddit. Nga kaning naa sila mga comment about this particular political party, this politician, and so on and so forth. So it's actually a rich place for you to get the pulse of the people, right? It's very interesting, right? Ikaw ba, like, what is your experience in Reddit, and have you actually found it a reliable source of information if you want to know something?
Well, I don't actually use Reddit.
Okay.
I personally don't use Reddit.
Why is that?
I do,
Is
because
there a reason? Wala.
Yeah, there's a particular reason because Reddit has a reputation already online for basically being run by very, very, very rude, biased, and what do you call this?
But isn't that the internet in general? Like, for
Yeah,
example,
pero
Twitter,
the thing
YouTube,
is,
right?
Yeah. The thing that makes Reddit stand out is that the people who moderate Reddit are usually users themselves, and they're not even paid by Reddit to moderate pages. So this is how Reddit works. Na kay mga pages that have certain topics, like let's say r/Cebu.
The best of Cebu. Panglitan.
r/Cebu. That's the Cebu page for Reddit. And then people will like put their posts there. And then there are, I think, several people who are moderating the page. Ang problema jud sa Reddit kay ang moderators, kay these people are usually narcissists.
Narcissists.
Yes.
You mean like narcissists for their city or narcissists for themselves?
For themselves.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Ang biggest nga problem is that like moderators have like a certain amount of what do you call this?
That's a hot take, man. So
that's not a hot take.
All
at
of you guys from
This is
Reddit,
not a hot take.
according to Ralph, are narcissists.
Not all of the people on Reddit. I
Most-
said the moderators.
The moderators.
Please
the,
don't put words in my
Okay,
mouth.
all of the moderators or most of the moderators?
All of the moderators. All of the moderators.
Give me an example, by why nganong nakaisulti man kana? Give me an example. Pananglitan.
Okay. There was this gun. It was the Reddit page for artists, I believe. I forgot what it was called.
Artists painting or singers? Artists.
Painting.
Painting.
Yeah,
okay.
painting. And then I forgot what the page was called. But one of the people who post stuff there, he posted like his own work.
Okay.
And I think they had like a rule in there about against self promotion for profit or something like that.
So this particular thread had a rule.
Yeah, had a rule.
So it's possible to have a rule within Reddit.
Yes.
Okay.
Within your certain Reddit
Thread nimo.
thread,
Oh.
and they're gonna set up their own rules.
Oh, okay.
And ang problema dyan sa kaning rules, some of them can be very vague and they're vaguely enforced.
Okay.
So Reddit moderators will usually like twist gani how certain rules can be applied for people they like and people they don't like. And then you can appeal like a ban or something, or like the moderator will like erase your post. You can like contact the moderator who erased your post and then ask, "Yo, why was my post erased? And can I appeal that?" They can be very obnoxious when you talk to them. And then
This is from personal experience.
not personal experience, secondhand experience.
Okay,
This is
okay.
people talking about it online.
Okay. On Reddit.
No.
Oh, at what forum do they asam sila mo sumbong ba sa mga tao sa behavior sa Reddit?
Well, usually on other social media apps like,
Like
Twitter,
Twitter. Okay,
or
interesting.
X right now,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
And you can't complain about it on Reddit because they'll take down those posts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, this guy had a post in there, and then he had a link to his socials. That was viewed as self-promotion for profit or something like that. And they took down his post, and he tried to have it appealed. And then when he talked to the guy, the guy was responding, and the guy basically had a god complex when he was responding. I can do whatever I want here. Like that was the type of attitude that he was giving him.
But you can make your own thread, right? And you can
Yeah,
be
you
the
can.
god of your thread too, right?
yes,
But,
But-
is Reddit being monopolized by certain individuals? You think, or are they a handful of individuals who you think are narcissists, who are the kaning moderators, or is it democratized by anybody is actually there and everybody's just kind of narcissist.
No, I think the moderators got uh selected by the Reddit, the company itself,
Really?
or you have to apply for it. I forgot
Oh,
I
anyway.
forgot the process.
Anyway.
But I think it's something you can apply to become. And the craziest part is most of these people are doing this for free. So they're taking time out of their day to moderate a thread on Reddit. And most of them are jackasses about it.
Jackass.
Yeah.
Okay. So strong words from Ralph Chavez right there.
Yes.
Anyway, so our topic for today is the best and the worst of Cebu according to Reddit. But we can always push back, right? That's why we have guests here in the studios of 105.1. Before we reveal our guests, our very special guests are actually here for so many things, but primarily they're here for their music and for perhaps for their microbrewery and for their coffee. But right now, let me say hi to our friends from Cabanatuan City, to Me Z Joser. Yaw ano eh? Me Z Joser. Mura man robot ba? Me Mazinger Z ba? Means Sarigan, and all of those that are on social media, especially on YouTube, on Facebook, and on TikTok. I think we're still there, and also on our official website, topsmediacenter.com. Ato hisgutan karong adlaw, our topic for today is the best and the worst of Cebu according to Reddit. Be it the best or the worst in experience, restaurant, tourist, service, transportation, bar, healthcare, entertainment, and so on and so forth. If there's a category that you'd like us to discuss here, whether it's the best or the worst, please join us in our conversation. Like I said, we have brought in with us our special guest all the way from the island of Bohol. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the members of the band Give No Fudge. They don't give a fudge.
We actually do.
You do. Manny, may buntag ni mo niya, Manny.
buntag,
Kani si
dagan.
Manny, mo niya akong amigo nako, mo ni siya ang drummer and usa mang vocalista po di siya. I-introduce ko din mo ang ubang mga band members diya, man. Go ahead.
Yes, but first, allow me to give special thanks to TMC, radio station here at Tops Media, and of course, my good friend Jiggy Juice and DJ Ralph. We are Give No Fudge from Bohol, and with me on my right is our guitarist and main vocals, Benji Otuhan.
May buntag ni mo diya, Bench.
From
Mayang buntag.
from Carmen Bohol.
Yes.
And also Rayan Villamora, another Carmen Bohol fellow. He's our bass player and also one of the three vocalists in the band. So yes, we've heard you with your special topics for the day, Sir Jiggy Juice.
So muna siya. So let me read to you ba ha? Let me read to you the murag a kind of summary of what is happening in Reddit ba. According to the people in Reddit, the best of Cebu in terms of comments, but it's the gateway to paradise. They call it the escape hatch. The absolute biggest praise Cebu gets on Reddit is its proximity to nature. Of course, obviously, you're here at Tops, right?
Yeah.
Doon lagi kayo, pila ra ka minutos kung di ka ma-traffic. Ang gikan sa Banilad, sa Cebu, all the way up here, siguro a good 30 minutes. Unlike Manila, of course, again, it's not vacuum. We have to compare it to the bigger city of the Philippines, which is Manila, where escaping the concrete jungle requires a flight or a brutal 5-hour drive. Redditors love that you can head out of the city and be a world-class destination in just a few hours. Muna ilahang one of their comments. Excuse me. It's also like I said, it's also a solid alternative to Manila, right? The vibes. Many users note that Cebu City feels more compact, less overwhelmingly congested compared to Manila, and retains a distinct, proud local culture. Let's talk about those two for a while. Kaning gateway to paradise. Murag ang proximity to where the urban paradise is, kanang asa ang mga watering holes, kanang mga clubs, ug mga bars, kanang mga restaurants nga maanindot, naara sa dool, imong mga hotel, naara sa dool niya. Kung ganahan ka magpadagat, dool na kayo. In fact, there's a lot of resorts in Mactan nga pwede ka magpadagat, kanang Shangri-La, kanang Plantation Bay, Crimson Resort, Sheraton, and what is that, the Dusit, and so many other smaller resorts and hotels nga naa dito sa dagat. Nya kung ganahan ka mo arik pabukid, sayo na sa gayo. Pwede lang ka mulabang ka sa magpili lang kag na may tulo ka bridges, 'di ba? Sa Mactan, 'di ba? Nasa Cordova katong Sisilex nga bag-o nga also a tourist spot in and of itself. Napoy kaning Marcelo Fernan Bridge, which we call the second bridge, and the old bridge, which is the first ever bridge. I don't know. There's an actual name of the old bridge. I actually don't know. Maybe you can help me out on that, Ralph. Unsa may pangan sa first ever bridge gyud sa Mactan? Dili na siya old bridge.
Di siya Mactan Bridge? Abi na Mactan Bridge.
Perhaps it is Mactan
Dili
Bridge.
siya London Bridge.
Dili sa London Bridge.
Dili.
So kana siya muna siyang first comment nila. That's the good part about Cebu. Comparing to Manila, I can imagine nga tinuod sa dyan agil siya kaya nag-adto naman kog Manila sa kadaghan onya murag ang traffic diri sa Cebu murag grabe kay makasapot pero walay masulti sa Manila, mas grabe pigud ang ka-traffic sa Manila. Kamo diha ba? You guys obviously are from Bohol, right,
Yes.
Manny?
Yes.
The band Give No Fudge has its origins in Bohol, right?
Yes.
Asa man gyud mo naguan bay? Asa man gyud mo murag kung napa mo'y birthplace, if you wanna call it that?
Tagbilaran City. yun.
Tagbilaran City,
Yeah,
good
City
mo.
of Friendship. City of Friendship.
Is that what it's called?
It is.
Oh,
It is
wow.
the City of
I
Friendship.
did not know that.
And it's all mainly because of the Blood Compact.
Oh,
you know.
wow. I didn't know that. I thought
Between Sikatuna and Legazpi.
I thought it was a city of kaning monopolies. Huh? Tinood na ba?
Yeah, you can
Huh?
say that too.
Tell me about the traffic situation in Tagbilaran City.
It's not getting better, of course. Just like any place,
close to the microphone.
just like any place, in the Philippines, particularly, nothing's getting better when it comes to the traffic
Okay,
situations.
okay.
Because we really don't have a good vision of the future. That's the problem. We are a very reactive people.
Okay.
So we build roads because there's already so much traffic.
Okay.
We don't build roads because we don't want traffic in the future. We build roads because the problem is there.
So you're speaking for the Boholanos, right?
I actually know, not just as a Bolano. With this conversation, I can actually share my expectations from 4 different perspectives. As an expat,
Okay.
because I'm from San Diego, California.
Of course, yeah. That's why you're
You
here.
know,
That's why
and
you're here. That's why I
yes.
wanted you to be here. Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
this is noteworthy to mention, I think. If I'm not mistaken, San Diego, California is the sister city of Cebu City.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I was surprised
A
too. when
long lost sister of Cebu.
Pretty much. They have
Wow.
that bond together.
Okay,
they, have
bond na
that, they have that handshake or something between mayors some time ago, I think. And so that's from that perspective as an expat and also as a balikbayan. Another thing is the perspective of of an entrepreneur, because as you know, I have some growing businesses from Bohol. I also have a different perspective being a businessman.
From an entrepreneur.
From a province like
Maybe
Bohol.
we can talk about that too as well later on. Maybe
Yes.
we can talk about how Cebu is good to do business or bad to do business. Ease of doing business. Maybe you can talk about
Yes.
that. But yeah, your perspective is very unique. You're an expat. You came from the United States, but now you're based in Bohol. You're saying that being a reactive is not just a feature, a characteristic, a character trait of the Boholanos. This is. What is this?
It's the Filipino identity, man.
The counterpoint of that argument is Iloilo, right? I mean, if you've been to Iloilo, even to a certain extent in Davao, although Davao's traffic is also getting bad, ang mga daan sa Iloilo bay dagko kay sanan ko, no? In fact, I was just there a few months ago because my son had something to do there. Dagko kay ilang mga daan dito unya paghuman napasray murag I think it's a 10-kilometer bicycle track. Murag
Oh, wow.
Impressive kuno kay tanan.
Wow.
So there are places in the Philippines that are preparing for the future. Kani sigurong ato ang experience sa Cebu City siguro ug sa
in most places.
Manila
Yeah.
and in Bohol siguro is one thing, but I think there is a counterpoint to that as well.
But once again,
Yeah.
we are just starting to become like that.
Yeah.
Just a small portion of the country
Yeah.
is trying to become like that.
Yeah.
When the rest of the
world.
Well, we have to accept the fact that we are really a third world country.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah,
So
absolutely, yeah.
what does what does a third world country do?
Yeah.
Third world country things.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
Although we are a very a progressing third world country. I would say,
Not progressive, but progressing.
Yeah, progressing, not progressive. We're far from being progressive yet.
Okay, okay.
So yes, that's the perspective of that. Another perspective I also would like to speak later on would be from the point of view of a musician.
An artist. Yeah.
An artist, and also for the perspective of a provinciano, because call it whatever. I have lived in the States for around 30 years, but still I am a typical provinciano. I live in Bohol now. I have a farm there, and now most of myself is transformed.
Yeah.
As a provinciano.
Yeah.
So I'm a full provinciano once again from another paradise, another beautiful island like Cebu.
Yeah.
Cebu really is beautiful.
Yeah.
From a perspective of a provinciano, Cebu is like a dream place. A lot of the new generations from, let's say, Bohol, they really would like to be in Cebu. Growing up. In fact, I have two small towners here. Not really small towners. Carmen is quite one of the bigger towns in Bohol. So I have I have two towners here.
One of the things that I didn't mention earlier about Cebu, comparing it to Manila, is the airport advantage kuno. Ang kanang atong MCIA kuno, Mactan Cebu International Airport frequently gets praised as the best, cleanest, and most efficient airport terminal in the country. In fact, it has won several awards internationally for its size, ba? Because we're actually Cebu City Mactan Cebu International Airport is a relatively small airport compared to the other airports. So for that particular category, medyo nindot niya ang ato ang airport pod. So I think that's also a very a key
Key
aspect ba of traveling bitaw of getting the a vibe of the city, of the place. Igsugod gyud nimo, igtugkad nimo sa usa ka lugar, you probably have an idea of what it is based on what you see in the airport, right?
Yes,
I think that's
definitely.
a telltale sign of
Definitely,
what the place is. In fact, daghan kayong kung madunggan nga istorya. We were just there a few months ago, and I think what happened was I was in the, what do you call that? More Korean airport man siguro. What do you call this Korean airport again?
Seoul, Kimpo.
Is that
Kimpo
Korean
or
airport
the
and
new one?
the Singapore airport? Mura og ganing just to go to another airplane ba, to travel to another place bitaw. Grabe kay ka-impressive ilang mga airports dito. The people are saying they don't need to leave. You don't need to go. You don't need to go to Korea or Singapore. Pwede na ka magpuyo sa airport for a few days and you will have a lot of fun already. So grabe jud kayo gitagaan og kaning weight ang airport sa usa ka lugar, right?
Yes,
Importante you guys tanan, right?
I have not been to Changi, I think.
Yeah,
is the
Changi,
one in
that
Singapore.
Changi,
Yes.
yeah.
I have not been there, but I have been to the I think it's Kimpo in Seoul.
Singapore, yeah.
In Seoul. And it's really a beautiful. Their old airport from Seoul. Actually, I used to travel a lot when I was still much younger. So I have seen the transition from the old Seoul International Airport to the new one, which I believe is called Kimpo. And the very nice, beautiful airport was, gi-improve pag yun lang taman-taman. So, same, I've read so much about Changi. In fact, I wanted to go to Singapore just for that. Walay time, walay kwarta siguro. But anyway, the difference, especially with Singapore, I would just imagine is, yes, beautiful airport. You're like in a very paradise, resortish type, resort feel type airport. Unigawas nimo, guwapo gyapon na lugar. Wa gyapon traffic, more organized and everything. The difference with our Mach 10 International Airport, medyo native ang dating, island feel ang airport. Unigland nimo, unigawas nimo, medyo chaotic na.
Yeah.
Sa parking area pa lang.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Chaotic na kayo.
Yeah.
Mga pangitag taxi, muhagol ka, maunaan naman po yung taxi sa airport and everything.
Well, actually, if you think about it, ang atong parking sa gawas, especially sa international, medyo
Okay na.
Okay man, di ba? Okay
Yes.
naman, di ba?
Pero nigawas nimo sa airport vicinity, there goes the traffic, very disorganized.
Correct.
There goes the basura on the streets.
Yeah.
There goes the stray dogs.
But they actually tried to clean it up, especially with ASEAN ba? Kay, di ba, karong
That's-
ASEAN, di ba? Mura og namatay dako kayong summit diri sa Cebu. In fact, I think Bohol is
Yes.
part of that because I remember because I was in Bohol a few
Yes,
months
yes,
ago,
yes.
right? Unya pag nakakita ko daghan kayong mga vans, mga wangwang, grabe kayong mura gipang close nila ang mga pultahan, ang mga daan. Unya daghan kaayog mga hotel nga fully booked and so on and so forth. So ang ASEAN niadto sa sa Bohol, imong tan-aw ba kung ikumparar nimo sa Cebu ba? How is Bohol, especially Panglao now? Because I think Panglao is a huge I don't want to say competitors, but as far as tourism goes, I think
It complements.
mura og ang Panglao karon daghan kaayong mga mga tourist spots o mga hotels and restaurants nga naka-feel sa competition sa Panglao because before they used to go through Cebu to go to Bohol. Karon na may direct flights
Yes,
from
true.
international
Very true.
to Bohol and even Manila to Bohol, di ba? So daghan kaayong, this is what I heard, nga daghan kaayong mga Koreano nga imbis mo
Yeah.
hapit pag Cebu padung og Bohol, mo ditson og Bohol.
Yes.
So tell me about how the new Bohol International Airport has changed the landscape in
Tourism.
the tourism in Panglao, especially in Panglao, Bohol. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, first of all, Panglao Island really is such a beautiful. It's a beauty. It's a different story, pretty much. A different world kung ikumpara nimo sa atong Mactan po diri sa Cebu. Mao nga a lot of foreign tourists they fly direct, to Panglao. Unya, not only that, our local agencies po, our local leadership, active sila. Active kayo sila sa Panguan ba, Pangulitao ba, sa mga tourists, potential tourists they actually go to the other cities, like Japanese cities, Japanese tourism agencies. They actually market
Kind of mga
heavily.
travel fairs,
Panglao,
diba?
yes, mga agencies. So and of course Panglao has a lot of especially when it comes to mga beautiful beaches. We have that. I would say most likely much better than what we have in Mactan. Kay mga natural man gitong ilang mga I remember a lot
Correct,
of beaches in Mactan. Ang ilang bus gikan sa Anda, Bohol. Back in the 80s,
Yeah.
So maunay natural gyud kaayong beach scene ang Panglao. Ang kuwang lang gyud sa Panglao infrastructure. Ang atong road system sa Panglao gaguot, very unsafe. Nangimotor mga turista nangimotor nga they are not even familiar with our road systems. Very unsafe, iro pa imong grabing daghana.
Correct,
Mao lang
yeah.
gyud dako kayong problema diha.
Oh.
To the
Murag
point
mga askal?
kina-askal.
Oh.
That has already claimed a lot of lives.
Oh, really? I
Di
didn't
na
know that.
magani na in like pahibaw pa sa
Nakabantay ko pa
You
iba
know?
when I was there, and this is not the first time that I was there. I notice this all the time. Daghan kay mga Koreano dito. Ngano man na siya
Daghan
ba?
kay Koreano.
I mean, like there's obviously a Korean. I mean this in a good way, invasion in the Philippines, right? Kay Cebu daghan sa Koreano, daghan
Yes,
sa.
yes.
Pero nakabantay ko daghan jud ay Koreano. Unya ang mga puti dili kayo daghan as daghan as Siargao. Nakabantay ko na ngano ka nga we are attracting the Koreans more in Panglao and not in other islands.
I think one thing with Siargao, maong daghan kay mga puti, mga younger, white tourists there. Kuan ra kayo sila, murag party place ra kayo sila, murag just like Boracay
Yeah.
ba. Kasagaran sa mga Koreano, if you notice, mga family people. Yes, na mga anak.
So mas
pagtiayon,
wholesome ang
sa
Bohol.
Panglao, bahay.
Panglao.
More on beach ilang giadto, labi na tong whale watching man gid maoy number one attraction for Koreans.
Ikaw ba nga taga Bohol ka ba? And of course, you're also from San Diego. You lived there for 30 years. Unsa man imuhang observation sa Cebu when it comes to let's just say hotels, right? Atong mga hotels diri. What do you think is to your mind, to your best estimation, maybe imuhang mga band members diri can also pitch in. Unsa may tan-aw nimo the best hotel, best bang for your buck hotel, meaning to say nga sa imong gibayran kaning makabenepisyo ka og ganing maanindot nga mga amenities without breaking the bank and sakto yung serbisyo pud. Go ahead.
Actually, I would say, uh,
Feel free to name
yeah,
the establishment if you like.
comparing Cebu with, let's say, San Diego, Honolulu, and Las Vegas. You know, ayun na lang Honolulu kay mahal kay Honolulu. Sa San Diego na lang ug Las Vegas, mas dili affordable nga ri sa ato.
Really?
Yes.
Mas mahal dire sa
Mas
Cebu.
cheaper pa sa Las Vegas. Daghang kay mga promos nga to.
Mo ba?
Nya ang kalami sa ilang hotel, kani nga tong for probably half the price. Mas
Really?
view pa kayo ang madto ka sa Las Vegas. Daghang kay mga
Pila man ang mga hotels dito sa Las Vegas karong mga panahon na
atong
in
panahon
pesos,
nga
in
dito
pesos.
ko, I lived there I live in San Diego until 2018, end of 2018.
Okay.
And, we usually go to Vegas
Okay.
every so often.
Okay.
Muadto mi kung makakuha mi og, let's say, usahay na itag $60 nga promo.
3,000 pesos.
Basta di lang siya weekends.
Oh.
You know?
So mahugog 3,000 pesos.
Mahog kung iyon na ng 3,000 pesos or less. 5-star na na.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There
Okay.
is ato.
Ang buffet dito, ang buffet.
Ang buffet nga to, layo ra kaya nga rin. Bisan pag the best nga buffet nga rin. Regular nga buffet ra na nga to.
Mo ba? So,
Mao
so,
ginay, klaro
with
diha.
that in mind, asa man imuhang pinaka nindot nga experience in a hotel in Cebu?
Diri sa Cebu kay wa namang gyud ko kaayo, sukad ko ni uli nga ri wa man ko ingong mag-tour gyud taman-taman sa
Okay.
Cebu kay sa Bohol ra man gyud ko ni.
So you don't
I'm from Bohol.
So but how do you how when for example now how did you where did you stay now?
Actually, kas karong panahon na Airbnb naman kasagaran.
Okay.
Alright, but every so often, you know, syempre mananaw ko say kung hotels.com mo akong tan-awon kung wa na kaayo tong sa Airbnb kung last minute kintahay.
Okay.
I-compare na ko Airbnb ug hotels.com.
Yeah,
Grabing mahala sa
So
Cebu.
tell me about the Airbnb experience in Cebu then, because that's actually very interesting. That's something that I did not
It's quite
I did not
a good experience.
think about. Tell me about it. Like
Yes.
pila man imuhang Airbnb sa Cebu
Make
pananglitan?
sense kayo ning Airbnb
Karon
sa Cebu sa
karon
pagkakaroon.
karon
kay-
particular trip.
For example, nag-book me for this particular trip. Condo nang among na-book. Two bedrooms.
Okay.
Two bedrooms. It can sleep up to 5 people. Kaya na pa may sofa bed,
Okay.
kinbahay. You know, for 3 nights, 8,000 ang among gibayaran
Oh
kinbahay.
wow. Oh wow.
You know, for 3 nights.
Less than 3,000 pesos.
Less than 3,000 pesos. Nana
Okay.
na kitchen, gwapo nga condo, you know, lami og
Morning Avida ba? Avida?
Dili mi sa kaning Deka.
Deka. So
So
condo siya.
condo siya.
Okay,
Nice nga condo, brand new nga condo.
Okay.
Very clean, na ay internet, na ay wifi, na ay widescreen nga
Okay.
TV.
Okay.
You know, fridge,
Is this a
full kitchen.
Is it a common thing for you to instead of booking hotels, you're booking from
Yes.
Airbnb na?
Airbnb na ko kay ngano kasagaran hotel at that price range. Mura og kuan limited ra kaayo yung mga daan na ang you know.
Oh.
Kung gusto ka ari sa kanang lami-lami na gyud mga hotel sa Cebu na anas mga siguro between 7 and up to 15,000 a night.
Oh.
You know, limited ra kayo kintahay ang gamay nga usa ra ka room
Yeah, kung
kintahay.
mangaon mo sa gawas bay, kung di pananglitan na naamoy bisita pananglitan nga mga VIPs or inyong mga pamilya nga ni bisita pod mga balikbayan, asa man ni sila dadun kung naamo sa Cebu bay, kung in terms of pakals, in terms of kaon.
Actually kasagaran man gyud sa kaning mga rimi kay pang kuan na bitaw ka ng day trip ra
Day trip ra
kintahay
kay
or
ana
2 days ra kitay.
duol ra man
So
kayo
sa
sa
mas stock most likely na sa mall. Kung sa lang na sa mall, but a couple of times di ay Mandawi ani nga nakalimutan ko sa nay buffet diri sa Mandawi nga. Kuan ra kayo, fairly priced ra gyud siya.
Mandawi?
Lami na siya. Nakalimot ko Chinese buffet man to.
okay.
Chinese no, I take it back. I think it's more of a Japanese
Okay.
buffet kay daghang to siya sushi.
Okay.
Nakalimot lang gyud ko sa ngan ug unsa to siya diri sa
Kay kanang buffet actually is a relatively new phenomenon in Cebu because dili pa kay na siya prevalent a few years ago, and I think mura og because of kanang hisgot nimo kaganiha nga sa Las Vegas nga grabe
yes.
kayo mga buffet dito, because I hear that a lot with
Grabe
my
yun
friends
to.
from who live there ba nga dugay na silang po dito nga murag grabe kayong buffet mo.
mao lagi grabe kay
Oh,
buffet.
murag
na to,
mo na
you know.
siyang murag na kita karon ato sang buffet culture sa murag nagagrabe sad kada hotel sa diri naagi buffet gyud. Ay lunch na
Pero
buffet.
limited ra kay ato mga
Dinner
buffets
buffet.
gyud nga re.
Yeah, maybe
You know?
maybe compared
Las Vegas.
to the United States or to Las Vegas, especially kay mo ng Las Vegas mo
Mao maginay. Yeah.
the eye of the storm when it comes to kanang mga service industry ba, di ba?
Ingana gyud. Yes.
Although murag karon murag na diffuse na ang gambling because now everybody can gamble using their
Online.
cell phones, di ba? So I don't know what going to happen to Las Vegas. Maybe we can talk about that in some other time and kaning topic kay murag that's actually very interesting
Yeah, true.
what online gambling has done to Las Vegas, right?
Casinos, yeah.
Very interesting. So, kung restaurants, how about kung pananglitan magpakuan ka, magpagpamasahe ka kaning ato ang health massage places ba? Unsa man imong nabantayan? Do you go ba? Do you use those services?
Yes, I actually go every month. I have this place, I have this membership. Pero sa Bohol ko,
Okay.
sa Bohol base ko.
So sa Cebu
Sa
nakasuway
Cebu
ka?
ako, kasuway nga
Okay.
sa Cebu. Kaya di ko kay Suhito sa Cebu. Ba?
Okay,
Kaning
okay.
Medyo mahadlok po takin tayo magsudsud o mga lugar nga wata ka. Suhito kayo.
Oh.
Mao na i-setback na umari ko sa Cebu. Medyo apprehensive ko. Kaya gadako mangguko nga. Na bad taste in my mouth with safety in Cebu.
Oh, wow.
Okay, back in the days, grabe snatcher nga re, di ba?
Oo.
Naka-experience gyud po ko nga diha pas barko, apakadunggo barko.
No.
Buntag sa iyo, gikawat na akong sapatos.
Oh.
Gamay gaedad ko atong mga siguro 12 years old.
Oh my God.
Gal
Okay.
tiniil ko bay from Pier 4 anto sa una Sweetheart going to Bohol. Gatiniil ko kaming sa akong tatay may galakaw minangit ni adto mis carbon,
Nangitag sinilas og
sakay mig
sapatos,
piyo sa unang
piyo.
Hindi lang mig
Piyo.
pero gatiniil in taong ko. Mao to'y
For
ako.
the benefit of people as young as
Yo.
Ralph, kanang PU, that's a smaller version of a
Yeah,
taxi.
taxi. Yeah,
right?
public utility.
Public. Kunang ang specific car gigamit na
Minicar.
Minica.
Yeah, Minica.
MINICA. Minica.
Minica.
Diya mo na siyang pasabot niya.
Mao to'y akong hangtod karon na stock na ako
na-trauma
nga.
di ka ba?
Na-trauma ko. Mabitong karon if they notice my bandmates, nigsud na mo taxi lako ditso kung di pa ako ipalak sa driver, kung di malak. Ipanglak na ako na ditso kay delikado kay na mga labnot mamoy itong na, di ba?
Oh,
Moy gyapoy atong
Kuya Juan ta siguro ang taxi driver mo na ba ngano nang lock man nga dagko mga tao.
mao lagi. Pero ako mao ginay ako nang habit kay mao nga mari ko Cebu. Di ko kayo
At
hilig
home.
magsudsud sa yes.
Di kay at home.
You know, di ko kayo at home sa mga
Oh, wow.
kuan labi niya mga business kasagar mari ko in and out raman nalay tuyo nga kariyo kintahay mao nga napoy palitonon maong ikasaan na lang kitahay ang biyahe sa palitonon pero kaning Cebu gyud kung i-compare gyud nimo sa ang mindset gyud sa usa ka probinsyano very kuan gyud ang Cebu kumbaga desirable place nga pangarap gyud sa probinsyano makaabot og Cebu iya gyud ang mag-selfie gyud na iya gyud na ibutan sa Facebook Ubek tingabit ako sa Ubek
Oo.
baliktad din na sa Cebu.
Oh.
You know, abi na ko sa
Speaking of Ubek ba? Ang ube kuno ba?
Oh.
Ube bitaw mo man ang the fastest going craze in the world now, di ba?
Ubi kinampay.
Oh, kaning gikan ko na sa
Bohol
Bohol ba?
Ang the best, di man ingong gikan ras Bohol, kay naama po na sa laing lugar. Pero the best purple ube is the ubi kinampay variety in Bohol.
Tell me about that story
Humot yun na siya.
because the world seems to be in love with not just
You know why?
ube but a ube. How do they
Ube.
How do they pronounce ube?
Dili.
Bulanon ubi.
Dili ba sa kwan ba sa world ba?
Sa gawas?
Oh, gawas.
Nato yung mga Americans who
Ube.
pronounce it as oob.
Ube. Kay Uber go, di ba?
Yeah.
Di ba? Uban.
Murag German ba? German.
Ub.
Murag German ba?
So kanang a particular kind of or ube or
Humot
ube.
ning sa kinampay sa Bohol.
Humot siya.
Humot siya. In
Humot.
fact, kani kung craze ron sa kinampay, it's because ube kinampay or the purple ube, naay bagong drink ron nga coffee-related, kanang ube latte. I'm not sure if you're already familiar with that. I'm not sure if Cebu.
I think
I
think the local coffee shop here, Bose, and I think Starbucks already serve the ube
latte.
Yeah.
Okay, mao po na nga in fact na ni contact na kong German company.
Oh.
Kay ni search sila unya nakitaan Manila nga naa ko'y farm sa Bohol although my farms is Liberica Farms.
Oh.
So nagtry sila hoping
Sa coffee
gagrow
farm.
po ko og gagrow ko og
Ube.
ube.
Oh.
Kay mao ginay major craze ron sa coffee world in the world.
Nganong didto man
Ube
sa Bohol ba? Is it again the land?
I think it's because of the land.
So are you saying your land now? You were complaining about how it is not as good as you want it to be for coffee, do you think the land for in your property in particular, and maybe in Bohol in general, is best suited for this particular variety of ube?
No, we haven't tried yet, but kanang mga old folks niingon sila nga lami kuno kay na sa ube. You know, kaning among mga kayutaan ngadto.
Oh.
You know, although in fact naman na sa among Bolhem kana bitong murag among yuta kung minahal, kumbaga provincial hymn na mo ba na anang matamis nga kinampay, you know, na
so part gyud
part na sa among culture gyud.
Kultura gyud mao di ay.
Kultura na sa
Very
Bohol,
very
mao nga.
interesting.
Mao nga ang marketing gyud ana.
You know what, I'll tell you this right now. One of the worst parts of Cebu. I'm gonna be upfront because we're talking about ube now, right?
Yeah.
Daghan kayong mga they purport they pretend to serve ube cakes and all of that stuff. I'm not gonna mention names, or I probably inadvertently named it already, but I'm not gonna mention any names, right? Ang ilang ube bay purti ka violeta. Purti ka ube og kulot, pero inigkaon nimo samta ni wa mo gini ube nga
Yeah, mao
murag
lagi.
flavoring ni gipanggamit nila ba?
Flavoring.
So I think
O
that-
coloring.
Coloring.
Coloring, sorry. Coloring,
Coloring
and
good.
artificial
Flavoring,
flavoring.
flavoring good
Oh,
po. Yes.
Dili good siya ube nga flavoring ba?
Yes.
Because real ube to me is kanang medyo nutty gamay, di ba? Mura siya
na
kaning
grainy.
grainy, nutty, unya, na texture gid ba?
Na texture,
And
na texture.
I
siya.
don't even taste it in the ube ice creams
Yeah.
anymore today.
I know.
Right?
I know.
Dili na gud pa rin
Wala na.
makinomdom jud gabay ang pagkabata nako ube is my favorite ice cream flavor, by the way.
Yes. Magnolia sa una.
Oh,
di ba?
magnolia makakita jud ka sa grain ba karon
Yes.
wala na siya grainy nutty
Of course.
taste.
We don't have enough ube to
so
sell that many.
and this is another conversation,
ice
but
cream.
namurag nahurot gyud nato export ang atong ube siguro sa murag nahutda na to ang ube dire
actually
sa
no
Pilipinas.
with that regards sa local consumption pa lang kuwang kaayo. I don't think we're already exporting by the loads, by containers sa ube kinampay.
Oh.
You know, or sa purple
Is there
ube.
is there a special, sorry for digressing our conversation about ube, but I have to have this conversation. Kaning ang kanang kinampay bay nganong dili man siya makaproduce og dagan? Is there a special reason why dili kita makaproduce in we cannot kaning grow it exponentially ba?
Yes. Ang gestation period ang waiting time is 9 months.
Mura
Mura nagtaon ng kinampay di na pareha sa ubang ube nga mas
sorry ay.
shorter period na may
di ay.
mga ube tag 3 months kani 9 months in taoning kadtog yung ube kinampay.
Oh, wow.
Dugay gyud ni siya.
Oh wow.
Oh, mao nga.
So
mao
dili
nga.
dili na siya parang coffee nga, the older the tree is, the more it fruits or whatever.
No, as I understand it, yeah, it's a root crop.
Root crop man siya.
Oh, ibto ni nimo.
So dili gid siya ingon nga
Di ni pareha sa di ni perennial nga harvest
Pareha sa kape.
sa dili.
oh my
Root
God.
crop ni imo gini i-dug out,
Oh.
you know,
Same-
at the right time. Oh, mura ni kamote. Mura ni gabi, ube, balanghoy,
Interesting.
uproot gyud na nimo. To
May-
harvest magtanom na pagkag utro.
Right, so kaning ang atong gisgutan karon ang the best and the worst of Cebu, right? You're in the coffee business, obviously. You have a small coffee shop in Panglao, and you're going to be opening a few more, not just here in Cebu, but not just in Bohol, but perhaps in Cebu. Tell me about your coffee shop experience in Cebu. What is the let's start with the worst, okay?
Yes.
What is the worst experience that you've ever had when having a cup of coffee in Cebu, and why?
Actually, well, first of all, I would like to correct nga kuan pa ta karong next few weeks pa ta maka-open sa Panglao ang atong coffee shop gyud nga
Yeah, but I was-
representative sa atong
But I was in your-
anyway when in Cebu.
I was in your makeshift coffee shop.
Yes,
That's what I
true,
meant.
True. Anyway, sa ari sa Cebu, wa man ko gawas ana syempre hibaw ka once again. Duha ka murag duha ka world bitaw ning atong beloved Philippines na ay third world na ay modern world, which is also true with Cebu. Di ba na ay 3-in-1 diha nga
Correct.
you know karinderya naaputay coffee shops in the likes of Good Cup Coffee, which I really have so much regards, you know. Lagmi gyud kaayo ang, for example, Good Cup, and I'm a friend of the owner, Sergio.
sa
Shout
kuan,
out to
sa
Good Cup sa
Good-
Eframos.
F. Ramos,
Yes,
diba?
yes.
Pero kaning Good Cup, although it has a small coffee shop, that really is more of selling beans.
Selling,
Pilipinas na, diba?
they are a coffee trader.
They're a coffee
They are
trader.
a coffee trader.
Uh,
Coffee roaster. Coffee roasters are the traders in coffee.
Correct. So
You
so in terms of your coffee experience in Cebu, kanang Good Cup is one of your
Kanang Good
experiences.
Cup. If I have enough time to grab me a cup of coffee, and a couple times I did, I go to Good Cup kay mao may akong naprobahan gyud nga.
How about the bigger coffee shop brands? Let's just mention and drop names. Let's just say the Bose Coffees and the Starbucks and what are the other Coffee Bean and Tea
Zeus.
Leaf, Zeus Coffee,
Yeah,
and the other coffee
yes.
brands. Have you experienced coffee from these places in Cebu?
In Cebu, yes. Kala mo, asa ba ang tea leaf to nga rin sa Cebu?
Na before sa
'Cause I don't wanna be-
Streetscape, na before, pero wala na kayo
Kaning niya sa mall na
Ayala,
to.
nasa Ayala.
Kaning niya sa mall na to, kaning bagong mall na to sa Cebu. Unsa man ang nabay coffee tea leaf diha.
I'm not sure which mall are you talking about.
Kaning seaside.
Seaside.
Na ba sila?
Tuwa.
Tuwa nga to no.
Tuwa
So
sa kwan.
nakatilaw ko kasi between Starbucks and Coffee Tea Leaf,
Okay.
ari ko ever since I've been a Coffee Tea Leaf versus Starbucks bisag sa San Diego pa.
Okay.
You know? And
But,
then Pete's Coffee came out in San Diego,
yeah.
and then nag-change na po ko Pete's Coffee yun ko.
Okay. But how was
You know?
how was your experience in the coffee shop space in Cebu?
Yes, kung ari ka sa mall, of course presentation-wise and everything, superb good. Superb good. ang
I
atong-
noticed about you, but I don't know, maybe this is a more universal thing ba nga. You always experience everything in a mall. Like nakabantay ko ba?
Mo may bugnaw good.
Mo lagi so kung magdaka og mga amigo, mga expat nga kaila nimo, murag dili kay ka adventurous ba nga kung ganahan kang sayon labi nag ka mga senior citizen atong mga koyog, di ba? Do you think the malls of Cebu I should say, is a good representation of what we have here in terms of fashion, in terms of food, in terms of
I would
culture?
say so.
Is it a good representation, or do you need to get out of Cebu City or Mandawi City and go to the different municipalities of Cebu to be able to actually have a better take of what Cebu is? Go ahead.
I would say depende gyud na sa imong time ug sa imong tolerance to traffic.
Oh.
Ako di na gyud ko tolerance to traffic, so mao na nga usually uni ka human sa business in Cebu unya na magipoy palitunon na magi shopping need mahitabo kintahay, you know. Mong mudagan kasagaran mudagan na gyud sa mall kintahay. Unya naa man pud kasagaran sikat sa Cebu naa na magupod sa malls kintahay nato, di ba? Mao gyud mahitabo, although kung kuan lang unta naalog gyud ang panahon, hopefully this next few months kay mo relocate not sa mo relocate mo open mi ngari og kanang nano brewery ba nga
Yeah.
craft beer.
Yes,
I'll be speaking more days now in Cebu.
How
for its
about
travel.
that space? Kanang mga bar o restaurant in Cebu. Unsa mo yung experience sa Cebu in terms of that?
Di lang gyud ko kahinumdum sa mga names ani kay mao gani ako.
maybe
I'm
you can
weak
just
with
talk
names.
about the experience.
But it's really a good experience. Much higher, much better experience than what we can offer in Bohol. Mao ginay tinuod diha.
Yeah,
Unya mas
yeah.
cheaper pa actually. Mas better quality, cheaper
Yeah.
cost kaysa
Really?
yes.
Cheaper.
Cheaper kaysa Bohol.
Ang,
You know, depende sa actually I would say cheaper gyud, you know, cheaper gyud ang Cebu kaysa Bohol.
really now.
Yes, much cheaper.
Has this have to do with the tourism culture of
Tourism.
Bohol? Nga murag grabe na kay sila ka tourist centric nga ang presyo sa mga palalito nito ug sa mga whatever
Yes.
is priced so high now because of the tourists.
Bohol's tourism really is Bohol's economy is a tourism economy. You know, labi na panglaw.
You know what? Ang akong nabantayan sa we're comparing Cebu and Bohol now, which is actually a very interesting comparison because silingan ra pero murag in many ways competitors in some aspects. Ang mga beaches ba sa Cebu ug sa Bohol ba? Ang nabantayan ako ang mga beaches diri sa Cebu naanay mga tag-iya bitaw in terms of the major resorts and hotel brands of the world.
Yeah,
Mura,
corporate na gyud.
corporate na kayo sa tanan ba?
Corporate
Grabe na kayo ka kaning restrictive ba? Ikaw kung imuhang budget limited ra unya di ka you don't want to stay in a 20,000 or a 30,000 hotel
Night,
room, right? Kaning murag maglisod ka og enjoy og
True.
beach, di ba? Sa Panglao, murag mas maka-enjoy pa man ka og nindot nga beach even though you don't have to necessarily check in, di ba?
Yes, yes.
Right?
Especially na may public beach.
Oh, yeah.
Pagyud nga reserve sa Panglao.
Oo.
So Panglao we have a public beach kanang sa Libaong, Barangay Libaong.
Oh.
Unya ang kaning alone na
Yeah, alone na.
It was made accessible to the general public.
Correct,
Yun.
yeah. Although
You know?
you could stay in
Yes.
a nice hotel, but the frontage is still
Beach open to the public.
open to the public, right?
Open to the public. Mao ni nakalami
And
sa
I think that's the best and the worst of Cebu in my mind. Ba?
na-enclose na ba nila?
Yeah,
Na-encroach
yeah,
nila?
I think that's super good if you're a tourist and if you can afford, right?
Yes.
But if you're a regular tourist, right? Murag dili ni hinung ka
Na-encroach na.
dili ni hinung ka maka experience sa Cebu because of the
True.
restrictive prices, right?
True. Pero I think that's if that is what's happening, di man ko lawyer, but I think that's an illegal thing for them to do because di man na pwede ko i-encroach ng mga mga shorelines.
Yeah, yeah.
Because shorelines is owned by the people.
Yeah,
You know?
correct, yeah.
Mao nga dapat di yun nila i-encroach ug dapat mag-provide gyud na sila og access diya.
Yeah, dili
For the general public.
Dili na jud ka makasuroy-suroy sa mactan nga kana bitaw maglakaw-lakaw
Mao lagi.
ka.
Beach strolling lang.
Oh, beach strolling
Beach
lang.
strolling.
Wa kay budget. Ganara kay budget for a beer and a coffee,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So what, you have no business there in Mactan doing.
Wow, that's a sad thing.
Yeah, right. That's so
You know,
sad,
that's
actually.
That's a very sad
And
thing.
I think that's
actually.
probably, to me, as a Cebuano, I think that's one of the best and the worst parts of Cebu. We have all these nice,
Yeah, exactly.
nice hotels and nice restaurants, which you can only go every once in a while because you can't afford to go there, right? And I wish it was more like Bohol in that regard.
Well, yes, hopefully Bohol di maingon ana ang Bohol to that extreme. But going back to the topic, Cebu as a Boholano, as a provinciano, Cebu is really desirable as a city. Of course, as an expat, if I have to compare it with where I came from, which is San Diego, California, and Honolulu, Hawaii.
Yeah.
Daghan pag yun og disparity.
Yeah.
Dako pag yun og disparity
But
in
I'm
certain
curious, Beba.
areas.
It's good that you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about this. Isn't it that when you travel, you want to experience something that you've
Local, yes.
experienced before, right? So
Yes.
kung if we're going to label something as first world or something as third world, mora og kung ang aspiration sa usa ka lugar mahimog first world, kung ikaw visitor ka, you're a tourist from the first I'm saying this in quotation marks, first world, inigbisita mo sa third world nga ni first world na ilang standards, pareha na.
No, di
So
man.
dili na siya lahi ang imong experience.
Actually, no. I beg to disagree.
Because I think a good part of the experience of a place is also the ordinary folk. You know what I mean? Like nakainomdom ko, inig ato na kog Siargao, makakita ka og mga turista nga maglingkod og siya nga
Yes.
kana bitaw ilang tiil nasa siya bitaw bay. Unya magpalit sila og kanang ilahang surf nga pandisa kanang pan unya i-dip nila og kaning
Yes.
og kaning
That's the kind of experience they're here for.
kaning 3-in-1, di ba?
Yes.
Well, I was there for a long time. Tanan nga mga bakery, bay dagga kay mga puti nga mag-dip.
True.
kape sa
They
ila.
try to be
Oh.
like the locals,
So,
right?
That's I think part of experiencing a place, right? Kung katong lugar gi high-end ba to, mananapunos to Starbucks or whatever coffee shop, then dili na.
That's the local experience that we're talking.
Correct,
You're
correct.
talking about.
Correct, yeah.
But we have the other. It doesn't matter if it's a first world, third world.
Oh.
That's the good local experience they want to
Correct,
experience.
correct,
Diba?
correct,
Dili ang basura. No
Correct.
tourist actually decided to
no.
come to this place
Nobody likes
to smell the stinky,
Correct.
foul, friggin',
Yeah.
stench from
Yeah,
the
correct.
marketplace
Al-
or from the trash on the,
although
the creeks.
although the counterpoint to that is poverty porn, di ba? Nga people actually sometimes travel to study kaning poverty.
Or actually, no,
Poverty tourism.
We are actually, we are actually attracting the lesser financially capable tourists too. Di yun na sila ang mga kasagaran backpackers.
Yeah.
Because mas cheaper man nga re.
Correct, yeah.
Okay? Because
Yeah.
ang kadtong mga dato yung kayo nga mga Europeans,
Yeah.
they go to the Maldives.
Yeah.
They go to the
So-
British Virgin Islands.
So kaning
they don't go to the Philippines, bro.
there is a push and pull here now because ang people are complaining that one of the reasons why we're not at the level of Thailand or Vietnam in terms of tourism, tungod kuno kay mahal kayong Pilipinas
True.
kuno kumpara nila.
Very.
So ang strategy is pina-Maldives ang strategy siguro in my head ba nga matong mahalon para maka-attract og mga high-end tourists.
Actually,
Pero kaning ingon ka nga maybe a part of the Philippines also is saying mahal ka tan atong paubusan para maka-attract mo ta og og mga backpackers. Daghan na kay mga backpackers
na
karon,
daghan.
di ba?
Backpackers ay atong tourist yung nga rin.
Oo.
Mo'y kasagaran.
Oo.
You know, actually ang ato dire is di man kay mahal nga price wise ra. Mahal siya because of the price in relation to the actual experience. For example, sa Bohol na lang kita tag 25,000 ang room kita sa hotel nga 3 or 4 star ra. You know? Could you imagine that? You know, I mean, daghamang mo mubayad ana kita kung ang experience po nila mura pud kita sa Maldives or sa ingon na ba. So mahal ta because we're charging so much for and di pa gyud siya mo ingon ka comparable kintahay, you know. Mao lagi na kumbaga unsa nga na catch 22 lagi pud kintahay usahay, you know. Mao nga ang ato I think nga angay yung himuon, although lisod po na himuon kay ang ato mga economy, it goes back to our economy as a country man gyud.
You know, another complaint, common complaint that I'm reading this off of Reddit, because this is what the topic is. You know, the best and the worst of Cebu according to Reddit. There's not much to do kuno in the city. You spend 2 to 3 days and you're done with it. Like, I know there's a lot of kaning mga bars and restaurants in Cebu, pero marag sayon ra kuno kaayo nimo malukop human wala na marag. What are your thoughts on that? Nga
As an expat, you know, maong kasagarang di ang mga tourist nga ri naa sila'y una kung we have the permission to speak freely, di ba?
Pwede ra gid ba?
Daghang tourist na to nga rin, mga in fact some of them have become expats. Ang gitarget yun nila kay kaning nightlife bitaw.
Correct.
Sex, including sex tourism.
Of course. That's really part of it.
Including
sad to
sex
say,
tourism kita. Hay mauna nga kasagaran di ang mga rowdy na usahay kung mga hubog kay mga palahubog ra kay bitaw nga mga tourist yung kita hay
pero mo sa na sad
truth
mo sa mo gasto, di ba?
Depende. Depende pud kita kay kani mga budget tourist man hindi anato, you know. So hapin nga barato lang yung kaayo para nila ang tandway, you know. They can get wasted here for just so much. You know, di man kaning ato mga tourist nga rin, di man mo yung mga big spenders yun. You know, mga rin na sila tandway drinkers nila sila. Kay
budget travelers sila.
Budget tourists sila.
So you're saying most of the tourists, both local, especially local and international, are mostly budget tourists, right?
Mao gini kasagarang mga foreigner nga diha sa ato. Ang katog yung mga naikaya nagiyap na sila sa British Virgin Islands, Bahamas
but ang atong syudad diri ba sa Cebu, sa Mandaue, even sa Lapu-Lapu, do you think we have enough entertainment, ikaw banda magyud mo, your band Give No Fudge performed in a venue or 2 venues actually, in Quad, in Mabolo, and in Handurao sa may Mandaue, right? That's their new branch there in Mandaue. Shout out to Zara Smith, right? Imong experience ba tan-aw nimo, do you think if you're a tourist, if you're from, let's just say from Manila or from the States, bisita ka diri Cebu, do you think malingaw ra ka in terms of their entertainment joints, entertainment venues in Cebu?
Yes, I think we have enough entertainment nga ingonana kitahing especially music and whatnot, pang tourist kintahay nga status. I think we have enough. And by the way, una ko malimot, we would like to say thanks to Handurao and also to Quadis Bar, to Replica Music Production, and to Giuseppe Music Mix sa pagdaan nila namo, for giving us the wonderful opportunity to rock and jam ana nga duha ka areas.
Rock and jam. So ang inyong performance dito sa kuan sa Quadis and in Handuro. Tell me about it. Like in terms of the crowd ba? Like in terms of the mix, were there tourists who are like maybe Caucasian, were there mostly Asian, or was it an all local crowd ba?
Actually, we were surprised. Yes, at Quadis Bar we have 7 young Americans.
Oh wow, okay.
In one table.
Okay.
You know, I was actually able to
Unsa man sila, tourists sila or
tourists?
Tourists sila.
First, that was their first day in the Philippines.
Oh wow.
In Cebu,
Oh,
you know.
nice.
They ended up at Quadis Bar.
So what did you notice about them?
Uh,
Young Americans, right?
young Americans.
Mostly male or
couples actually.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
Equal. I'm not saying I don't know if they're couples, but they're
Equal
about
mix?
the same number. Yeah,
Okay,
equal
okay.
mix. You know.
What was on their table? Was there like
They were there to be wasted.
Okay.
They were there to be wasted.
Oh,
you know.
what were they drinking, if you don't mind?
Local beers, you
Oh,
know, San
yeah.
Miguel.
San
They were
Mig Pilsen,
drinking
right?
Red Horse, I think.
Red
Red
Horse.
Horse and San Mig combination.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, okay,
The standard ones.
Interesting.
So yes, they were not so rowdy yet because you know we had a conversation before we played.
So you're able to talk to them?
Yes, because I'm from California too,
So
and a couple of them were
tell
from
me about that
California.
conversation. Tell me about the conversation.
So yes, and then I happened to mention that you know I was a U.S. veteran. You know,
Okay.
I was a U.S. Marine.
Okay.
Which I think was the big reason why they're a little bit behaved. You know, because they're not drunk yet. You know, and I
Nang
told them-
hadlok nito ay
and I told them I was
Samukan
a
mo ba, oy?
US Marine in my former life.
Okay.
Transferred to the US Navy. So
Okay.
yes, but of course they were so responsive, you know, as an audience, as a group of tourists, you know. Pero mas daghan gyud locals.
Okay.
Daghan gyud ang
So imong
Cebu locals,
experience ba, imong experience ito as a performer. Maybe you can look at it from two angles. Number one, as a performer, how did the venue or venues treat you? And number two, how did the audience respond to you? Just compare it lang to
Bohol.
your audience and your treatment in Bohol, and maybe if you have other experiences in other parts of the Philippines, if not the world also. Go ahead.
Can I have them speak about their
Go.
experience
Sige ba,
first?
sige ba.
Yen.
Yan.
Yeah, and then I'll share my experience. Ikaw na.
Oh yeah.
Unsa may mong experience?
Sige, unsa may experience mo ba dire sa
Yes,
sa
about
Cebu?
sa crowd. Refreshing murag lahi na pud nga lugar ning mga tawhana kay ba nga di na ni mga bulanon, di na ni mga same ni mga probinsya, and
Oh.
then
How responsive? Unsa man sila
yeah.
responsive?
Kitawagan na eh.
Diri pa ko na,
Appreciative kayo?
Appreciative
appreciative
ang
kayo?
appreciative ang mga tao kay siguro
Mabakbak yun, maninggit yun.
nga na gid. So
diri pa gid may naka-experience nga ang mga tao una pa ganing kita na mo ganahan gid sila og original kaysa sa mga cover.
Really now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So are
We
you
were warmly
Oh, yeah.
welcome.
Wow,
Let me
nice.
put it that way.
So mga kaigalaan, let it be known nga kaning Give No Fudge, their experience in Cebu performing in Quadis and in
Handurao.
Handurao is nga ganahan receptive day ang mga Sugboanon
Mga
og original
yes.
music, because there once was a time not too long ago nga all of the bands in Cebu, all they did was do cover songs, right?
Yeah.
And although na yung mga original, pero dili jud kayo as well received as a cover song, and I'm glad to hear that. By the way, before you continue, we have a response here from Adnams Narido, the best.
Uy.
Kaila kaniya?
yes.
Kinsa man ni siya?
Kana si Sir Adnams mao nay nag-shape namo as a band musician.
Nila duha classmates.
In high
duha
school.
sa una.
The
Yes.
best and the worst of Cebu in terms of development and progress of the local music scene in the region. Moy angay ninyong hisgutan. Ayaw ng local tourism kay dili man mo taga tourism sector nangaway ninyo kanong hisgot man mo ang mga tourism dia.
Sorry sir.
sorry sir.
Sorry sir, bisita
Yes.
lang
You know what?
yan.
I have a response to that. But yes, continue, sir. Go ahead. You're about to say something about how receptive the Cebuanos are when it comes to local music.
Unlike sa Bohol dito, kasagaran just mga tao kay ang ilahara
I love Bohol gyapon, ha?
I love Bohol gyapon. Pero kasagaran mo gis mga tao,
Sa
majority
culture.
gyud, like cover gina Elias, mga kanang
Oh,
anak bitaw
nang Elias. Oh, taga Bohol ba na
What's
siya? Yes.
Pero siyempre, that's national.
What's trending?
man.
ang kultura bitaw dito dili pa bitaw gyud as in para Cebu nga grabe.
Progressive na Cebu. Progressive kayo Cebu, you know.
You know, the reason why I think it's important to talk about tourism is I think one of the things mga that tourist wants to do when they go to Cebu is to go to the melting pot, the watering holes, the bars and the
Yes.
restaurants, but the entertainment scene in Cebu ba?
Yes.
Kay ang usa ka lugar yun, kung ato ka og kaning place with bands, it's a good representation of, hopefully, one would hope nga it's a good representation of the entertainment and the talents of the area.
True.
Diba? So mo nang importante nga maghisgot ta og tourism, because I think first of all, this is what this conversation is all about, right? But also ang mga musicians manggod is kind of in the front lines,
Yeah,
right?
We are part of culture.
Oh,
We are the tip of the spear.
you're saying this is who we are as
Yeah.
as a people, right?
Yeah,
With
true,
the way you perform. Pero nakabantay ko ba, this is a very common observation, and not just by me, but by a lot of bands that I've spoken to. And I'm sure you guys will have something to say about this. Kadaghanan po sa mga turista po, mo respond po sila usahay, ganahan, mo request sila og kaning mga matukar kay Abba, kanang Dancing Queen, malingaw din sila po. Like, tell me about that. Like, is it now the tourists who are asking for more international songs? Kasi nakabantay ko sa mga hotels and big hotels and restaurants. Nga kadaghanan po nila, ang ilang mga banda po, mga cover songs po because they wanna cater to an international crowd. But wait a minute. Isn't the international crowd wanting to listen to local music? Isn't that what they want?
Supposedly.
Am I wrong here? Tell me.
You have a very strong point there, but that's not always the reality on the ground. You know, that's the sad reality. Kay padayon nilang kintahay mga show bands, cover bands, you know. Padayon gyapon gi-market ang mga kanta nga mga sikat na daan nga kumbaga
Dancing Queen.
isn't that kind of like pre-colonial murag colonialist wag gyapon ang atong
But I'm talking about
mindset ba?
I'm talking about the tourists now, huh?
Yes.
I'm not talking about the locals now. I'm talking about the tourists.
they want to experience local music,
No,
local food.
No, the reason why the hotels and the restaurants in Cebu, ang ilahang mga performances usually, although they're trying to make an effort now to actually play more local songs, pero usually mga cover songs gyapon. Kay ang turista kuno dili kuno
Familiar man. Because familiar ang
Right.
rason na familiarity. Unya syempre pagka for example ang turista depende na sa level po sa iyang pagkahubog, you know. Kung medyo bust up na ning tourist,
Nanindot na kayo.
niya makarelate siya sa music, all the more he's gonna end up spending. I think that's the psychology behind it. You know, mao nga kinahanglan nilang i-jam gyud ikuan para syempre mas mudangog kita. Oh, that's business.
Yeah, nakabantay sa gubay ba nga, not just here in Cebu but in the entire Philippines ba nga hisgot mo katong Elias JTV, di ba? Nga kanang sang mga performances daghan kayong mga banda na ron nga moabot na og kanang mga munisipyo, moabot na og kaning mga bual, kanang moabot na og kaning karkar. I mean, mapuno sad sila ba? And I think part of that is, I think, of course, during the last election and even in past elections, kadaghanan sa mga politiko mo invite sila og mga sikat para musikat po sila paguman. Mo rub off po ang ilang kasikat sa usa ka banda or usa ka artist para musikat po sila para mapasalamaton po ang mga katawhan sa usa ka lugar nga gidaan nila si whoever, di ba? So ang akong pangutana sunod ba is kanang mga lugar ba kanang gisgutan ako Kawasan, kaning Moalbual, kanang mga lugar bitaw nga mura og mga adventure spots, tourist spots in Cebu. Asa man imuhang kaning best experience by in terms of these tourist spots outside of the city of Cebu, because this conversation is not just about Cebu City, but the entire island of Cebu, the best and the worst of Cebu. Imong experience in terms of diving, in terms of snorkeling, in terms of kaning unsa tawag niya na kanang dili magmask kaning skin diving.
This free diving.
Free diving, sorry, and so on and so forth. What is your experience there?
Mao lang yun akong setback ron kay I'm a certified scuba diver.
Okay.
But I only dive in Panglao tungod sa akong very busy schedule ba. Wag gyud ko makalugar. In fact, there's a bar there that has been inviting me sa Moalbual kay they wanna sell our beers too. Wag gyud ko ka lugar ug moadto ang Moalbual kay kanilaging murag multifaceted ng akong struggle kita ron sa mga paningkamot kinabuhi ba na ako'y beer na ako'y coffee nga farms. Mao nga di ko ka comment bahin ana outside of
Yeah, we have, speaking of comments, if you're planning to explore, I'm reading something here off of Reddit. If you're planning to explore nature tourist destinations, it's a good base. You can hike, they're talking about Cebu, you can hike, scuba dive, free dive, cliff dive, and waterfalls chase all in Cebu. You can ride a ferry to Siquijor and Bohol and get cheap flights to other destinations with lesser queues and airtime. If you're planning on staying long term and value convenience and access to flights going to neighboring countries, then BGC is a better base. There are just more flights coming from here. You'll be walking distance to everything you need. So ang iyang kumpara ang BGC sa Manila og sa Cebu nga kung if you're a world traveler kuno mas nindot kuno nga imong home base didto sa
BGC.
Sa BGC. Your monthly expenses will vary. If you live like a local, you can budget 2,000 US dollars all in for a month. If
True,
you
true.
live on Western standards, expect to spend at least 4,000 US dollars all in per month. Kanang inanabay, kanang if you wanna ikaw kung naka sa Cebu ba niya, ang imong plano is to travel around the world. I think there are enough international flights
Yes,
siguro sa Cebu, di ba?
yes. I would choose Cebu over anywhere in Metro
BGC?
Manila.
Oh.
Yeah, even over BGC.
Oh.
You know, mas enjoyable gihapon kayo ang Cebu unsa. BGC kung naara ka plano ra ka na sa BGC.
Oh.
Okay ra ka diha, you know, the whole day, the whole week, the whole month naara ka sa BGC mo gawas ra kag mulupad sa naiya.
Oh.
You know, but if you're talking about experiencing life, nature, scuba diving and all, mas gwapo pag yung kayong Cebu kay like he mentions, you know, narag Bohol, narag Siquijor, you know. Even Cebu has so much to offer already. You know, I've read so much about Mualbual. I've watched so much YouTube kay gusto. I've been planning to go to kaning tips sa Cebu ba unsa ning Bantayan. Pag yun na malugari.
Oh, wow.
You know, pero lugaran yun na ako. I wanted to go to Malbual and Bantayan Islands, yun Kintahay. Pero maski una na ako tong other islands around Bohol kay mo matiwa pa na ako maatuig yun Kintahay, you know. Pero diri sa Cebu, there's nothing that you actually want to experience that's not readily available within a 2-hour distance. You know,
here's
that's a
another
beautiful thing
here's
about
another
Cebu.
comment about the Cebu from another Reddit comment. I actually prefer Cebu over Manila. More tropical vibe. People are more down to earth, and the vibes are much more chill. Plenty of places to visit and see. So
Yeah,
in terms
definitely.
of kanang vibe ba?
Exactly.
And I think murag karon ba Ralph, correct me if I'm wrong, murag gibutangan naman nag-S sa karon sa nga vibes na, di ba? Di ba?
Yeah.
But I think they mean kind of the same thing gyapon, right?
Oh, same thing ra gyapon.
Kanang kung vibes ba, murag dili kayo na siya ma-measure nimo
Yeah,
bitaw,
exactly.
pero lahi ra gyud ang feeling nimo kung good vibes, di ba?
Exactly. Exactly.
And
we have that in Cebu.
every time I always think about Siargao when I talk about vibes, right? Lahi gyud ang mga vibes sa mga tao dito. And maybe because I have been too much of a Cebuano, I don't know anymore the vibes of the Cebuano. Tell me about the vibes of the Cebuano ba?
Yung na nini duol ra sa Bulanon. Actually mas kuan mo, mas laid back ayo gud ang Bulanon, di ba? Ang people from Bohol. Yung anim ko ng vibes good. Halos pareho ra mo ng atong tropical vibes.
Yeah.
Pero as soon as katong mga heavy nga baha bitaw sa Manila, muabot na mawa na ng vibes. You know, mawa mo ng vibes kung maglangoy-langoy kaya mo trabaho.
Magka-crisis na, oh.
Exactly, crisis mo daghan kay ngadto.
Oh.
It's usually the nature-made natural calamities ug unsa para sa Manila gamay uwan mo baha na. The vibes go out the window na gyud Kintahay, di ba? Unlike sa Cebu, I don't think unless it's rare man kay itong dahay bagyo nya, dahay flash flood. You know, otherwise okay ra ta kayo nga rin in comparison sa Metro Manila or ay grabe kayong baha ngadto, you know, matimingan ka na sa baha asa pa may imong kalipay kinabuhi nya na traffic ka, ga taxi ra Kintahay ka or ga drive ka, di ba? Samot na og panalitan nag-commute ka. Unlike diri sa Cebu, gikan mi sa katong bus terminal, unsa tang bus terminal sa IT, di ba? As in, wow, very kuan ra kaayo kaning lami ra kayo ang flow ba? Ang flow sa atong traffic, sa atong unsay nga na transportation sa Manila kuan in town kumbaga mo yung may numdumas Manila kanang agawan ba yun? Termino nga agawan.
Siko.
Sinikhanay na in town nga to.
Robo na kayo, robo
Unsa
na
na
kayo.
kag muuwan gamay, nya kibaw sila nga, di ba?
So ang mga ang mga Sugbuanon compared to the Boholanos or even the Siargaonos are murag laid back ra.
Laid back gyapon ang Cebuan, ang Cebu gyud. Laid back ra kayo pero
usas sa go ahead, continue.
pero mas laid back ang siyempre taga-probinsya, you know, ang Bohol or Siargao. Pero laid back ra gyapon kayo ang Cebu.
Usasad sa mga nindot nga experience sa mga turista is kanang dili bitaw pahimuslan. Kanang bitaw ang mga earnest ang mga tao ba. Kaya nakinumdum ko nga my experience in Thailand was actually very good in terms of their taxi drivers ba, their Uber drivers. Nindot juga yung pagka-treat or hindi gid mangilad ba. At least we thought we were very well taken care of. And ikaw tanaw nimo ba like in Bohol and in Cebu nakabantay mo ko usahay gud nga kanang mga tricycle nga usahay nga murag kung dili ka taga dito bunalan sa kagdako-dako. So is that still prevalent ba kaning kung turista ka ba chances are nga bunalan juga in terms of pliti
Mao
lang.
na problema sa Bohol. That's one thing I am very ashamed being a Boholano of what has become of our people in Bohol nga na ano bitaw kusog na mo take advantage. Sa Cebu di pa maninong ka. Mo grab taxi ka way problema bayad ka eksakto, you know. Naimitro tanan. Dito puro ra puro ra kaning
Tinamban.
tinamban na kaya kansi mga kanunay ang ilang tinamban system lugi ka times 3 na.
Tesa, di ba
You know?
bag-o man ang naay murag so man
Grab,
ICM kuan ba na GSM ba na siya nga kaning EV nga o Grab na sa Bohol karon bag
Naay-grab ang Bohol pero naapod sila pedi app.
o kana
Nga murag app nga
So dili
pang tricycle.
dili ka mabunalan na
Kana mura na siya grab di ka mabunalan na.
Oo.
You know,
asa mang binulanay dai.
ang binulanay ang problema ani katong regular tricycle driver nya mga locals mismong locals
Oo.
mupara ka pangutanon kadayon.
Oh.
Asa mga padong pila may imong ihatag?
Oh.
Come on.
Oh.
Pila may imong plite?
Oh.
Lami ingnog wa balik ka kibawog pila plite padong ato 15 rawan.
Oo.
You know, gusto nila mohatag kag yun ana ba lain take advantage na kayo.
Nganong inana man sad na ba? Nganong dili man i-regulate pud sa gobyerno?
Because of the tourism economy. Mahal na kayo tanan.
Oh.
Mahal na kayo tanan sa Bohol para sa regular nga
No,
residente.
but they can make it murag they can make it a public announcement mga ang pretiro ni nani na.
Mahimo gud unta. Pero I don't see any will from our local leadership. Wa pa na nako makita sa hopefully basig mo ingon sang gibas nato sila pero
Yeah.
wa pa lang na nato makita nila.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future I am hoping I continue to pray nga mahigmata pod ng atong local leaders ba nga they can somehow try to empathize with the people.
Yeah.
Kay luoy na gyud kaayong mga tao.
Because importante mo gayo ang treatment good sa tourists good both local and international sa ilang mga turista sa ang mga locals ba kana mga taxi driver kana mga Uber drivers kana mga transportation drivers whatever motor habal-habal tricycle mura mas usa na sa mga first touch points mga sa turista
Yes.
go di ba
True.
mo na first experience nimo sa usa ka lugar di ba kung dili na nimo tarungon og disiplina mawawan juga di ba
Exactly.
Mawawan
Mubalik
ka.
po na nimo.
oh
Mubalik na nimo sa imong lugar.
maski og ikaw ilaron ka wala na ikaw pananglitan ikaw
Exactly.
tabo nimo gikawatan ka og sapatos sa imong pag-arin mo dire sa Cebu bata pa ka
Wala yung trauma na. Traumatized na.
forever na siya na-attach sa imong
Exactly.
psychology di ba nga Cebu dili ni safe kay kawatan ko sa nilas sapatos sa
Balik lang yan.
so balik ka na gyapon ba so
Labi na ron nga naanay mga online reviews.
correct
Mo na wa nila ma-realize
na
nga mangigo sila
Social
unya.
media is
Oh.
enough na.
Naanay mga Yelp sa US o sa
Correct,
British,
correct.
mga European na apoy unsa man kana sa Chinese or sa Koreans.
correct oh.
You know, mo sa nga na mo
Feedback.
bumirang ra na.
Oh, mubirang importante kay tanan nga you have to murag make sure that everybody is in the same page right
Dapat
nga kinanglan ka nga you also have to sell to them not just the idea of it being a business but to sell to them and it's more than just a business you're actually also representing us
I know.
as a people right
I know.
kung what you do to a tourist is not just what you do to that tourist but you're also doing it to
your
everybody
people, yeah,
to
to
your
everybody,
people
yeah,
right
yeah,
and I think
exactly.
kana siyang inananga butanga ba I think it's just a matter of kaninga disip kanang impart lang ba education man na siya ba siguro I
okay.
think it's really important to educate them about those things but I mean like you don't have to go to a full-fledged school you can be like a kind of a crash course right
exactly. You know,
Kana
common
mo-
sense naman gyud unta
Common sense, oh.
Basic ka pamatasan naman unta
Yeah.
nga di ka mangigo.
yeah correct I'm really glad nga you guys are here in Cebu I'm sure Bohol is also actually a very exciting a place for you to have a music career. I've been to Bohol just fairly recently and then nakakita ko nga inyong nightlife is also very alive, right?
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes.
it's beautiful and your venues are also beautiful but I'm glad nga you found the time to visit Cebu. Kaning give no fudge. I know that you're working on a project right now in fact that you mentioned earlier during our conversations off cam nga kay kanta nga gi-record sa usa usay tawag ni ani music studio I've never heard of. Can you tell me about a little bit about the music studio that you're working in? And
Oh,
are you
yes,
going to be
yes.
settling in this particular studio to record your other songs? Go ahead.
Yes, well, we believe so.
Yes.
For 428.
Yes, 428.
Shout
Sa-
out Sir Garks.
Garks, yes.
Very professional.
Actually, dito dyan may gahapon. So,
Very good experience, very good
So, ang
sound engineer.
sound
actually.
engineering?
yes, yes.
Yes, he's the bass player for this group, Amores, Iping Amores.
Oh,
that
Iping.
band.
I know Iping, yeah.
He's the bass
Oh,
player.
wow. Oh, wow.
You know, long hair. You know,
Yeah.
Garks. He has his own rehearsal studio that doubles as a recording studio.
Nice. Okay.
Ang mga gamit actually is, dili mga dili gid mo ingong high-tech mga mahalong gamit, pero ang iyang skill level maayo kayo.
Digital, of course, right?
Digital of course. Acoustic drums niya.
Yeah.
Pero digital everything.
Wow.
Pero maayo siya nga kuan kasi we've been to a couple of mga maayo pud nga mga studios.
Okay.
You know,
And this album of yours that you have been working on for a long time, right?
for a while now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And kano sa man
Since last year.
kano sa man ni siya mahuman ka tanaw nimo? Are you giving yourselves a timetable or what?
Yes. We are giving ourselves to launch a full album by August.
By August.
By August.
Oh,
by
wow.
August. Just recently we released ang katong among duha ka songs.
Duha ka
Paradise
singles.
is Calling, the one you played earlier, and also Blue Moon Sky. Inaana sa Spotify na.
Oh, wow.
You know, so mo na among two singles nga recently released just this month or last month?
Last month.
Last
A
month.
month
Last
ago.
month. Yes.
So, last April.
April. Unya, we are working on three more songs. Actually, the plan was to release an EP album. Nga 5 songs ra. So nami 5 songs. Pero we changed our mind nga mag full album na lang may nga 8 or 9 songs. Mo nga mag-record mi og kwan gi-release na lang namo tong duha. Kay nakasulti naman mo release mi EP album mo madayon, so nag-release lang mig singles. You know, unya mag-add lang mi og 3 more new songs to complete the 8 tracks for
So that's
a full album.
that's the number of songs that you plan to put in
Yes.
your album this August.
Yes,
You know what?
8 or 9.
You already performed in Quadi and in Handurao, and are you going back to Bohol? If yes, where are you performing? Where can you catch the band Give No Fudge?
Give no fudge.
Asa man mo perform by? If not, maybe you have a particular kaning sa tawag niya ni website or social media account that they can also watch your or Spotify ba hinoon kung ganahan mo maminos inyong
Yes,
mga
yan.
kanta. Go ahead, tell everybody more about where they can get some more of Give No Fudge. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, naputay IG, and TikTok.
Yeah,
Naputay
fudge
TikTok.
around and find out.
And yes, wasya kay ba kay kami ran Gen Z.
Wow. Gen Z, magkaunsa to akong pagka Gen Z dong. Kalimutan ko sa akong pagka Gen Z. Like,
Yeah. So
Pero
you know,
anyways.
I have a habal question here from my brother. Tell me about the cost of making an album ba? Like because I remember I had this conversation before nga nag-ingon sila nga to make a song kuno it costs like 15 to 20,000. So you do the math. If you want to have an entire album, you know, it's 8 songs. That's already
Yeah.
more than 100,000 pesos, right? 200,000. Is that still the way
no,
it costs now, or
not anymore. Not
Okay.
anymore. Naay mga studios nga high quality na.
Oh.
Of course, napatay mga studios nga kuan kaning ana nga range per song 15 to 20,000 per song. Pero daghan na ng studios nga maayo na pug kaayo nga within the 5 to 7,000 range na lang kintahay mao na lang ang
so
ilang-
maka-album ka og let's just say less than 100.
less than 150,000
Yeah.
depende po na ninyo kay you can spend the entire day or 2 days just for one song or 1 or 3 days.
Oh.
You know, kami suhapin nga master na maguna mo among mga na master na mo ang mga songs ko we already play our songs live before we even record.
Oh.
You know?
So, advantage na
mao
sa
to'y among-
time
mao to'y
for
among
recording.
pathway, you know?
Kaya kana magong recording studio ang imong bayad na niya per hour, di ba?
Per hour.
So, kung pananglitan-
mostly sa recording.
Sa recording.
So kung advantage namo nga sige na namo play before pa na mo i-record, so di na
So importante siguro for the other new bands out there nga inyong kanta, inyong praktiso ng mayo.
Yes.
Inyong
Master
hanaso ng mayo.
Yo, master gina.
Para yung studio ninyo, one take na lang, di ba?
Oh, yes,
Baida
mostly.
daan yung sundang guys, baida.
Yeah, because I've heard of bands nga tibuk adlaw gyud ang drum track sa kintahay.
Oo.
Kay mao pa magkita pag-compose nila unya pag-arrange record ayon.
Correct.
Kami na compose na
Pero if you watch mga the documentaries ba, of course we're talking about the Beatles here, right?
Yeah.
Nga kaning dito gid sila sa
Studio,
the creation is really happening in real time in the studios ba.
Yes.
Because I think that's also a really nice place to create, whether you like it or not. That's true, right?
We have our own rehearsal
Yeah.
studio which is
Yeah.
sa bahay ra kintahay.
Di ba?
Dito ang among creativity.
Mostly ang arrangement.
Dito
Ato
ang
may
arrangements.
tabo.
Dito mo mag-create.
Oh, dito
Yes.
biga. Dito na create kita.
Not necessarily the recording room.
Yes, record na lang mi sa
Ah.
when it comes to recording, record na lang mi.
Interesting.
You
Pero
know?
nampo yung sahay nga kanang like naagapoy ma-add.
Oh,
Yun,
add-ons
yun,
na lang to
add-ons.
sa recording.
At least gamay na lang ang trabahoon bitaw.
Gamay na lang.
Add-ons.
Ah,
Kaya
parang-
usay sapian magid mi sa among pagka-creative, creative.
Sapian?
Sapian.
Oh.
Oh. Samot na rin among kuan na rin.
Oh.
Among drummer, grabe kay ka grabe kuan ba?
Oh.
Like vision iyang
Mostly good mo pahinugon na mo da ng song. Para inigabot sa recording, maka-less nag time and also ang cost.
O i-record pag yun na mo, nga basic tracks kintahay, and then we will give it like a week or 2 weeks. Amo po itong paminawon, na magimulutaw nga, ibutang ni nga guitar tracks, inanay dugangig cymbals ari, mga yun na, kaya ron ka, unik adto nga to, kaning cost, kuan lagi ta, cost efficient ta, we have to be cost efficient. Otherwise, we're gonna end up spending, like you said, 100,000. We don't have 100,000
Pero
to
ideal
spare for.
ideal gid ba isa nga ang imuhang recording studio napad sa imuhang kanang imong praktisanan, di ba? Ideally.
The best case yun kintahay go apo
Best practice yun na siya,
Yes,
di ba?
best case scenario na kintahay.
Oh.
But we don't have that kuan
Oh.
option in our case. So,
Minillion sad ba na ba mag-invest ka og ganing recording studio kanang for a
no, not anymore.
pero mahal gyapon.
Not anymore. Kung ako'y pasultion siguro gwapo na kay na recording ng mga 300,000.
200,000.
Way labot ng, of course, kanang location.
Oh,
Way labot ng
yeah.
rooms.
Just the equipment.
Just the equipments na kaya ra kay sa
Kaya.
Also mga for
or 200,000. Yung mahimo na 200,000 kitahay nga
Oh.
nga budget.
Really?
Ang recording studio, yes.
Wow.
Kinahanglan lang
So,
yung ka og $1 million value nga recording engineer. Mao gito
So ang pinaka-importante gyud ay is the brains
exactly.
kaning
Exactly.
kanang train.
Also, ang uban personal preference nila sa mga specific nga gadgets or softwares mga yana. Pero karon na
Daghan mag options.
Daghan mag options.
Daghan kay options labi na rong panahon nato digital age.
Yeah, karon diri sa Cebu daghan sa kay mga music studios, right?
Naapod daghan.
Yeah.
Maayo po ning Kalye Musika,
Oh.
maayo ning 428 records, 428 records sa Pardo. Di lang gyud siya mo ingong pareha sa uban nga high-end nga building, mga kani more on hole in the wall lang gyud siya nga type nga recording studio nga garage type ra gyud siya. Pero ang material nga na-produce ani nga garage type nga kuan di basta-basta mo mag Foo Fighters gi-record ra ni Dave sa iyang garage, di ba?
Yeah.
Tanawa iyang mga album, paggawa sa iyang album mo apay wa magani siya banda. Siya ray ga-record tanan first album sa Foo Fighters,
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Anyway, pwedeng i-shout out namo
Go
ng
ahead,
Nami
go ahead.
Future gig.
Go ahead.
Sa May 23rd sa mga taga-Tagbilaran o close by neighboring towns ato
Na
sa
mga naminaw nga muuli og
Yes.
Bohol anang tema.
The Hideout Food Park, May 23. It's entitled Give No Fudge plus 2 singles. We're going to promote our 2 most recent singles. Nami mga kaubang banda. Kinsa sila, Ian?
kauban na mo ng Halusin and then
The Frabs.
the Frabs
and Sagidas.
Sagidas.
And Sagidas Band. So, yes, maunay future most kuan gyud
So if you want to support them, watch them perform at the Hideout in Bohol.
Hideout
right?
Food Park, May 23rd.
May 23rd. You can download their music on Spotify. You can like their page. You can ask questions. Maybe if you want to give them gigs here, if you're listening to this broadcast and you own a venue, masigasa mo sa Pilipinas or sa kalibutan. If you want to invite them, just post your intent on this particular conversation on our Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok page as well, and I will definitely relay that message to the band Give No Fudge, and watch out for their album. I'm sure we're going to be there at the forefront of the release, of the launch, I should say, of their newest album. Hopefully, you will visit Cebu again.
Definitely. Thank you for inviting us in advance.
Yeah, so para sunod din yung pag-ari diri,
Album launch na.
we will be able to see the best of Cebu, not the worst of Cebu.
The best of
The
Cebu.
best of Cebu.
And the people,
Of course, yes. So daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw mga kagilan. Daghang salamat. Give no fuck.
Daghang salamat,
Thank you.
DJ Jiggy Juice,
Thank
DJ
you so
Ralph.
much. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, thank you.
And if you want to join the conversation, just make your comments on all of our social media platforms, and we will definitely answer them. We're always monitoring our shows, not necessarily just while we're doing it, but we're also monitoring it while or after we're doing it. Because to be honest with you, you can also still continue on the conversation for as long as you want, as long as this video is still available. And we will definitely answer them immediately. Daghang salamat sa inyong pagpaminaw. I'm your host. My name is Jiggy Juice. Thank you, Ralph Chavez. And of course, Give No Fudge for making Top of the Morning possible. 105.1 TMC, the best of us.